Alright, what is poppin', my dudes? So today, the CK show, we're talking about the experiences you remember. I've got the CK show sign. It's not finished yet. I haven't attached it. It's not plugged. It's not wired up yet. But I've made a CK show sign. Let me know if I should. This is just version 1. I've got a better idea for version 2, but I might make a couple if you guys want to buy some. But yeah, so I bought a 3D printer recently, and so I've built this. But yeah, I was just like, damn, I want to make LED lights. I'm like, I need to make money, but what can I do? So I've decided that maybe I'm gonna run like a little cheeky like market stall or something, and then I can sell the LED lights to unknowing strangers. Sorry, the camera was just looking a bit dirty. But yeah, so I'm doing today's CK show standing up, mostly because I don't know. Well, I feel like I've been sitting down too much. I need to get my energy moving. I've got to get my heart pumping, the blood running. But yeah, so I started back at uni on Wednesday, which I haven't been to uni since like October last year. But it's just all rubbish classes. That's the main thing I learned, was that it's all going to be rubbish classes. I'm going to actually sit down because the angle is terrible. You guys can't even see me. Whoops. Yeah, the light's behind me because I can't get it in front of me. Like that's as close as it's going to get. So unless I'm like sitting like this, the light's not really going to be on me. Or I could sit back. Could come back to like here, but then I'm a bit far away from the camera. Lighting's terrible. She'll be right. But yeah, so start back at uni. All my classes are kind of waste of time. I've either done the class before, or it's just like one of those scammy classes, the foundation classes. I think they describe them as the courses that you have to do, the ones that they're gonna steal your money and rob you blind. Let's turn the brightness down. Maybe that'll actually make it better. Yeah. It's a little bit better. But yeah, so pretty much most of my classes are the ones where they rob you blind. They're going to take $2,000 from you to teach you basic English. Basic comprehension. But it is what it is. I need to do them so I can actually get my degree. I think at this point you have to kind of accept that university's a scam, school's a bit of a scam, but you need to do it so you can get professional qualifications and things like that. You don't need to get an arts degree. It's not going to teach you anything. If anything, you should go find an artist and say, hey, look, can I work under you? I'll be your apprentice, blah, blah, blah. Or find, unless you're planning on being stuck in school forever, which is what you call a PhD, being stuck in school forever. But yeah, so pretty much, like the title says, I'm going to be discussing the experiences you remember. So I've been thinking about it recently, but my most memorable times have been like especially when it comes to like playing games. Like I know that in the 22 episode I was talking about the accomplishments you make on your own, but I think it's more memorable like the times when I was playing Pokemon on the back of the bus with my mates, and me and my friend were cheating in Pokemon into the game so we'd have better Pokemon than everyone else. It's we're a bit of scammy. We're a bit scammy. Pokemon Black and White were the days, because you could just cheat in any Pokemon you wanted. My friend had this level 1 Pikachu with a Wonder Guard, and it was on a balloon, so you couldn't hit it. There's nothing you could do. Yeah, but pretty much it's like the small moments where you're playing games with your friends, or like when you're doing stuff with people around you. So like the other day I was playing Minecraft with my boys, and I'm like, damn, this is a throwback. This reminds me of all like playing League of Legends in Japan until like 7 a.m. with Robert, or like playing 2K with the boys with like our 60 overall squad and finally getting a win. Like those wins are more memorable than anything else. Or like even just like doing small projects and stuff together. Like doing stuff like this just reminds me of my brother. Like, you see that CK show, bro? Look at that. Nah, so I'm thinking I'm going to get like a whiteboard and I'm going to stick it up like behind me. Okay, like hang it just like ding, right in the middle. The only issue with it is the hot glue makes the O super noticeable. But maybe that's on purpose. Maybe I did that because it was meant to be like that. Yeah. No. But yeah, so I wanted it to be the way it is. It came out really well. It's got like a little cover around it. I've even made like a little gap for the cables to go through. Yeah, you can see that. Just chiseled that out, you know. No, well, not chiseled. I filed it out. But yeah, so I bought a 3D printer, so that's part of the reason why this week, even if you look at the gaming channel, I didn't do anything on it. I've just been busy doing my stuff, doing what I do best, messing around and wasting time. No, not really. I've installed a bunch of LEDs. I've built some signs, messed around with 3D printing. Had a bunch of failed prints today. Well, today I've had 2 failed prints, but I think it's because I might need to turn supports on. Not sure. They both failed in the same spot, so it might actually be the design that the person has done. I might have to look for someone else, but that's fine. I know I'm mostly planning on printing my own stuff anyway, but yeah, I'm still gonna mess around with CAD software a bit more, and then I can actually print way more things. But yeah, so far, printed this sign. That's upside down. CK show. But yeah, I've also, like, recently I've gotten my strawberry plants all planted. You know, like, they're in actual dirt now instead of just sitting in the pots, overgrowing the pots and being a bit of a nuisance on the balcony, you know. Now I've got, like, an actual spot. We've got a bit of a forest out there, you know. We got a jacaranda tree. Got some other tree. A really big flower. Got a couple of other things out there, you know. It's growing. It's getting some personality out here. I don't think we're going to move from this apartment, but we might do, which is going to be painful, but she'll be right. She'll be right, mate. Because I won't be able to, well, the box I moved, I don't think it's very movable anymore. Because, yeah, it's got like 100 liters of dirt in it. No. It's got like 150 liters of dirt in it. Well, no, 5. Yeah. Yeah, 100. It's got like 150 liters of dirt in it, which is be heavy as fuck. Oh, these socks have a hole in them, bro. It's a sad day when your favorite socks get holes. But yeah, so like I was saying, like it's all about the memories when you're like this, like the experiences you have with other people. They are what, like, other things you remember. There's like the experiences you remember tend to be ones with other people. I know that I said that in the 22 video, but like I just wanted to, like, I want to make sure that it's understood that like as you age, the experiences you remember tend to be the ones you've had with other people. Unless, yeah, like even negative experiences, usually they're caused by other people, right? Or like other beings. And I think it's the same with even positive experiences. Most of the positive experiences are with other people. You don't really like have a positive or a negative experience if you're just alone, not communicating with other beings, right? If you didn't interact with any beings at all ever, then I don't think you would ever have a positive or a negative experience. Like, if you think about that deeply, right? Like, it's impossible to have a positive or a negative experience without interacting with other people. Like, it's actually impossible. You're not having a good time or a bad time. Yo, if you just wanted to, like, flatline, you would just not interact with anyone. People would call that, like, reclusion or depression, but really, technically, because you're just not interacting with anyone, you're just, like, doing your own thing. You're just chilling. It's not either or. It's just, it just is. You're neither, the more you think about it, every single thing that creates an experience of any form involves other people in some form. Like, even with AI, it's still a thing that was invented by humans, so you're still interacting with other people, unless you've fully built something all on your own, but then you wouldn't have any sense of gratification at all, because you wouldn't have a negative or a positive experience. It'd just be like literally called surviving. So you can only possibly have positive and negative experiences from interacting with others. You can't do it alone, which I think is, it's kind of cool to think about, that those kinds of things don't actually exist if you were to grow up in like complete isolation, away from everything, right? If you never interacted with people your whole life, you wouldn't have like either a positive experience or a negative experience. It would just be an experience. You know? It's like, so if you, yeah, because you can't actually have a good experience without interactions with other people, and you can't have a negative experience without interactions with other people. Unless you're like supremely like unlucky, or if you're supremely lucky. But then, like, what would you even consider as being lucky or unlucky if you don't have outside factors to influence those things? It's like, there wouldn't be all of this idea of being happy or sad if you grew up alone. It would all be like, how do I survive? It's just like survival, right? Because that's like what's kind of ingrained in us, which is great for like before we took over this earth and started destroying it. But like now it's kind of like, oh, how do we enjoy ourselves? How do we entertain ourselves? How do we not be sad and depressed all the time? Like you think about it, like really, that's what it is. That's what's happened, is because we're so interconnected and the globalization is just like connected everyone. There is no like middle really anymore. The only way you end up in a situation where you're not either influenced in a negative or a positive way is if you're like still on survival mode. Survival mode is the only way to have a flatland experience, which is just crazy, because the experiences that you remember are usually, you only remember the negative or the positive ones. You don't remember I was just chilling alone at home. Like most of those days just kind of blend all together, which is, I think it's kind of interesting to think about, like the concepts of people growing up without interaction with anyone else. Like it wouldn't be possible, right? Because you'd always, like, you have to have a parent, right? Like someone has to have given birth to you. But what if they just got rid of you and then you just somehow ended up in total isolation in the jungle, or like your mother gave birth to you and then she died and you somehow got like the kind of like Mowgli, like from the Jungle Book concept. But then he was influenced by the animals and the monkeys or the gorillas, I think. I don't remember the Jungle Book too well. But yeah, like that was the whole influence of it, is that he grew up with all these animals, right? So he was influenced by animals. But I'm thinking more like you're on a desert island. There is no animals. Oh, well, you can't communicate with animals anyway. But mind you, I'm sure that if you had only animals to interact with, being human, you'd end up interacting with them or learning how to interact with them. I think that's a really interesting concept to think about. But yeah, so goals wise, I really haven't worked on YouTube this week. I haven't read any pages of books. I've been working on 3D printing. I made a little bit of money so far, but this month I think I'm going to fail every single goal I've made for myself, except for maybe the activity one, because I do way more stuff when I'm like working on my 3D printer. Like I'm just generally more active with my time, and I'm like moving around a lot more than when I'm like just focusing on YouTube or playing games. Like playing Pokemon. I played Pokemon for like 40 hours in 1 week a couple weeks ago, which is insane. I live streamed for 40 hours on Pokemon. I played even more than that. But yeah, and then I played Pokemon Go on the weekend. My main account didn't get anything good. It's a bit sad. But my sub account did pretty well. I'm going to go grab some water. I'm still here, boys. But yeah, so like I was saying, like the world is like the only, like society is the only reason that you can experience positivity and negativity. What's poppin', Tane? Oh, stay hydrated, boys. But yeah, it's one of those things. As you grow older, you don't really remember experiences when you were alone, unless you were like in like solitary confinement and all you were doing was thinking. But oh yeah, you need to stay hydrated at the gym too, my dude. But yeah, as we age, the things that you remember most tend to be experiences with other people. Being alone is something that is often forgotten. So like most people don't remember what they had for breakfast that morning. And then you kind of just forget what you've had for breakfast. And as time moves on, you forget all the smaller details and you remember more of like the key events. So from what I understand of being old, because I'm not old yet, but like my grandparents per se, they remember the moments where their kids accomplish stuff. They remember moments when they accomplish stuff. But like accomplishments usually are only what other people kind of see. Like the moments in your life which you remember most are usually the ones where it's just you and the boys, or it's just you and your kids, and it's just like the small random things, and you just like at that point in time you might not think, oh, this is gonna be a memory that I'm gonna have forever. But then as you like age, you're like, damn, bro, I miss the times when I was in the hostel in Japan, just like chilling with Shunki, walking the washing over to the washing machines, bro. Just like having a good time, having a vibe. We just sit outside, we'd chain smoke a whole packet of cigarettes, you know. It was the times, but we get older and we stop doing those kinds of things and we like grow up. It's like it's the small moments that you're like hanging out with another person where you kind of just feel at peace. Like it's when you're not thinking about other things. And I think it's too easy to be wrapped up in your head when you are alone compared to when you are with like hanging out with other people. It's a lot harder to be wrapped up in your thoughts and ending up in negative places because you just like you don't remember those moments in the long run anyway. Like you think about all the negative moments in your life and you're like, oh, it hasn't been that bad. And then like the next week you're like, oh, it's always been terrible, blah blah blah. But maybe that's just like a sign of mental health issues. So maybe you should go get that checked out. But yeah, it's like you end up in this place where you really will only remember the experiences which like have been with other people. You end up at this point where life just kind of feels like, oh yeah, nah, it was fun and it was about the people you met along the way. It's like it's not about the journey, it's about the friends you make along the way kind of concept. But like I think I've delved into it a little bit of a sideways kind of way. But I think it's good to understand like the extra aspects to something like that. The deeper meaning to it so that you can like wholly understand a comment like that, or like small jots of philosophy that are like that, where they've just simplified it to the point where you're just like, okay, yeah. But then when you think about it like more deeply and you're like, oh, okay, so this is really what it means. It's like, it's about the moral of the story being like analyzed. Kind of what they made you do in school, except it's more, you've got to understand it yourself, not the way the teacher wants you to understand it. It's about the way you view things rather than the way other people view things. Which I think is like a thing that they lack in schooling, at least in earlier education in Australia, is like being able to understand concepts and things like this from your point of view rather than the point of view of others. Because otherwise you just end up having a bunch of people that are the exact same. Which is kind of like what is like Japan and China, is that people will all end up the same way because of their education systems. And like, it's not a good thing because it means that they're going to end up being stuck without any prospects because everyone did the same thing. So there's no differences between people, which I think is like one of the many positives of a place like Australia or America is that the individualism like kind of pushes out this concept that you can do whatever you want, and then it means that people will take different tracks to get to where they want to be than in other places where it's like you have to do this, this, and this, otherwise you're going to be shunned from society. I think the individualism in Australia means that you end up having this kind of broader sense of the universe, but that's more from just like the way we were raised by like our family rather than schooling. Yeah, so the point of this show was to talk about the experiences we remember, and I think I've covered that pretty well. So I think I'll see you guys in the next episode of the CK show. I'll catch you guys. I'm going to go back to 3D printing. Apologies if this was a little bit louder because I'm swinging around the big old mic. It's pretty heavy, but yeah. I'll catch you guys. Don't forget to subscribe.